Hi there. Welcome to our live session today. And in today's session, we're going to be talking about marketing impact. The reason I love talking about this topic is for many people out there that are running their businesses, running vegan businesses, one of the biggest challenges is trying to decide what you should be doing, how you should build your marketing plan, how you can start to really put together an approach that's going to help you get your brand out there, drive sales, help people see your expertise, and then ultimately drive impact in our community and outside of our community. So for a lot of people, they find themselves either scratching their head or running themselves too thin. They're trying to do like every marketing everywhere. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Just saw somebody on Instagram that I knew, so I just wanted to say hello. And actually, that brings me to a good point. If you're here, say hello. I'd love to see who's here while we're live and we're talking. I love making this interactive, but at the same time, I also want to make sure I give you guys enough great information because I know a lot of you will be watching this as a replay. Okay, so rewind back into impact. So as people are starting to put together their marketing plan, as they're starting to kind of figure out how can I start to reach my customers, the challenge is trying to synthesize all these different tools that are out there and all these new tools that keep popping up. I mean, who hasn't heard like, this tool changed my business, or hey, I tried to do this and oh my goodness, I was blown away. And when you hear those stories, it can make anyone kind of nervous about what should they choose, where should they go. And what can happen is you can almost become stagnant. You can almost become a person that's like, I'm just not sure what to do. And therefore, what I want to do today is maybe help some of you that are maybe stuck. And also some of you who've been doing your marketing for a while, but want to get more out of your marketing, I want to give you a couple recommendations today that could help. Now, my biggest recommendation is instead of focusing on the tool, instead of thinking about I'm using Facebook or I'm using a webinar or I'm going to use A/B testing or I'm going to use postcards in my marketing, what I want you to do is kind of go up a level and think a little bit more strategic. Think about the impact that you want your marketing to have. What do you want the results to look like? Because if you start with the result first, what you may find is you may choose a different tool. You may choose multiple tools, or what you may end up doing is you may use different tools at different times. So what I want you to do is always think about, what do I want to accomplish with this marketing? Now for me, I call almost everything kind of a campaign. So when I approach something and I have a goal, I have an impact that I want to make, I'm going to say, okay, this campaign that I'm doing is because I want to grow my email list by 2,000 names, as an example. For some of you, that number is great. For other of you, I might have just knocked you out of your chair. It's okay. If you want to grow your list by 100, that's perfectly fine as well. That can be your impact. But the idea is if I want to grow my email list, and then my question is, well, why am I trying to grow my email list? I might have found that by growing my email list, I can not only expand my reach, but it also helps me with sales when I have a promotion or when I have a new service or offering out there, or when I have new content to share. If my email list grows, it helps me reach more people. So therefore, my email is a great tool for me. Now, it's not just about the email list, because what I'm trying to say is if I'm trying to grow my reach, if I'm trying to drive sales, that tool can help me. That can actually make something happen. So my impact that I want to have is I want to have expansion in my email list because it's going to help me achieve those other things that I mentioned, okay? So that's how I would approach it. That's how I would think about it. Now, sometimes I don't get specific. I don't take a tool and look at the impact and how it can impact multiple channels. Sometimes I take just a general impact. Let's say, for example, you want to do more education. You want to educate your audience about what your product or service is. Let's say you're a health coach, as an example. If you're trying to teach people about how to eat healthy, how to prepare foods quickly, how to eat healthy on the go, how to travel, whatever you're coaching people on, what you want to do is build campaigns that help you educate people. And that means when I think about the impact first, when I think about what you want to accomplish, it's not just education in a general sense. We have to quantify it. We need a metric to actually know if we were successful. And the idea is that you start with that metric way before you choose a tool. Because if you start with that metric, what we can do as you're building out the campaign, even as you're implementing the campaign, is we can judge if that marketing is working because we can say, does it meet the metric? Does it meet the goal that you actually established? So if we're talking about education, you may say, hey, I have this great content or series of content I'm going to get out there. I want to make sure it reaches 1,500 people at least. So that means you need either 1,500 views, 1,500 downloads, whatever is the format of your content, is that's what you're trying to achieve. Now we know what your goal is. And then from there, we start to back up and build a campaign. Because if it's a PDF on your site that you want people to download, then what we can do is say, all right, I'm going to use social media in this way to get people to my website to get them to download the PDF. Or you may say, I'm going to build a landing page with the PDF on there so that when I go to speaking events, when I'm posting on social media, so that when I have partners or I get interviewed, I can give all three of those people the same link to that landing page where people can sign up to download my PDF. So I'm hoping you guys are starting to see where I'm going. I'm hoping you're starting to see what's happening here, because by starting with my goal and then backing up and looking at the tools that can help me get there, what's also happening is my marketing is starting to work in concert. Instead of me doing some social media over here, doing some speaking engagements over here, doing some webinars, doing some things over in Instagram Live as an example, if I start to bring these things together with a central goal in mind, I can not only leverage something like a landing page in multiple channels, but what I can also do is it's setting me up so that my campaigns are building on each other. I'm not going out and every time I need to go do a speaking engagement, I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do. Instead, I create a standard. I have a standard landing page that people can go to that I send them to. I put it in the last slide of my presentation and they can go to and redeem or download that PDF. If you're a product-based business, you may have a landing page that a person can go to and they can download a coupon for your product or your service. If you're someone who sells, let's think of something else. I'm trying to think of a good example. Oh, an online course or a membership site. You may do the same thing. You may have a person go to a link on a landing page where they can download or access a secret code so they can get a discount to your membership. And what we're starting to do now is making sure that your marketing is bigger than the tool. It's bigger than the actual channel. It becomes all about, how do I get that education? How do I get that exposure? How do I build my email list? And then one other example I didn't talk about is, how do you show your expertise? If your goal is around expertise and we quantify what that looks like, meaning the number of people that are viewing, the number of people that are accessing, the number of people that are downloading, what we can always do is make sure your marketing is working for you. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Have you thought about or have you tried this approach? Have you sat down and kind of worked your way backwards to say, if this is my goal, does this tool help me get that goal? Okay, if this tool works, what other tools can work with it to make it work as well? So if I'm doing a speaking engagement and I'm going to be in front of people because I want to get more exposure and want to show people my expertise, and I'm going to be speaking online and offline, what I'm going to do is say, all right, I want a landing page. I want a landing page I can send everybody to. And if I have that landing page that can send everyone to downloading that PDF, that's my signature recommendation, my signature recipes, if you're a cooking instructor, or maybe you have a blog or a book, maybe you're going to send people to a signature checklist or guide. Maybe you have a signature course that you want people to go to that's a free course. Great. We know where we're going to send them. We're going to create a landing page. And then from there, we start to use the other channels. You can even do things like webinars and send someone to that landing page. I've done that before where I've done a live webinar, and in the live webinar, I've said, hey, why don't you click this link so you can download or access this or get my secret code. And what happens is now things are working together. Now things are building on each other, and now your marketing is more impact driven as opposed to tool driven. So with that, I'm going to wrap up today's session. I hope this was helpful. I hope this inspired you to think about your marketing a little bit differently. And I'd love to hear in the comments what you're doing and how you are starting to build your marketing around the impact that it's going to give you as opposed to the tool itself. All right, take care.